Hi, families. So I am so excited to talk to you about this topic today. It's about understanding twice exceptionality, and that is just something that people just don't know as much about. It's just less understood, less researched, not as recognized in schools, but it's like up and coming. It's like more and more kids are getting identified as twice exceptional, even some adults. And so it's something we need to know about so you can recognize it in your child and just understand it a little bit better. And so another word for twice exceptional is 2E. Let's get started. So today what we're going to talk about is what it means to be twice exceptional, how to recognize 2E in your child, in others, some myths that might come up about understanding 2E, and then some support, like what else you need to know about 2E. So what does it mean to be twice exceptional? 2E, or twice exceptionality, refers to individuals who are both gifted and they have one or more learning difference that goes along with that gift. Now, the gifted part refers to them having some exceptional intellectual or creative abilities that just stand out, and it goes beyond their peers or what's considered average in their age group or population. It's being able to take skills and ideas to a whole new level and kind of think outside the box. So they have this one component and they have that learning difference. So some examples of twice exceptionality are being gifted with a learning difference such as dyslexia, dysgraphia, and this affects their academics. Giftedness with ADHD, so common, oh my gosh. And giftedness with autism spectrum disorder, ASD. They need both a gifted program and a special education program in order to address their needs if they have both of these exceptionalities. All right. And many people and parents that I meet with are wondering, they're like, I think, they're bright. Something else is going on. Could it be, is it just the gifted? Could it be there's autism there? Could it be that, and they're on the spectrum? Could it be they have a learning difference? What else is going on? But most commonly, do they have ADHD too? Okay. Or is it just the giftedness speaking? And so the giftedness can mask or challenge the challenge, okay? The learning differences. And it can mask it so you don't even see it's there. And so it's underneath the surface. And then you don't even see the challenges. And you're just like, oh my gosh, maybe my child's just lazy in this area, okay? Or they're just an underachiever in something. The giftedness, vice versa. So the learning difference can mask the gifts. So you don't even see how bright they are just because it's so obvious that they're struggling with spelling, with reading, and you're not seeing fully how their ideas, what they're saying is so interesting and high level. Being 2E is confusing. So because a child's has this inner struggle, they know they're so bright in some ways, but that can just be frustrating when the learning differences or the challenges are so high. And especially if that's what they're seeing. So it can be this push-pull, right? Where it's like, oh, I see all the challenges. Here they are. They're in the front. And the gifts are back here hiding. Or, right? And then it can go this way. And so it's so hard for the kids to understand, who am I? So they can have some identity issues and wondering, where do they belong? Are they in special ed? Are they supposed to be in giftedness? What does it mean for me? Am I good? Am I a good student or not? So it easily leads to levels of high frustration or anger, anxiety and worry that they're not going to perform at the level they think they should, social isolation because they just feel different, so then they might pull away from others, and or low confidence where they just don't know if they love themselves and accept themselves as they are. They feel like they should be better, be different, and measure up because their measuring stick might not be accurate. So seeing both exceptionalities as superpowers is so important because dyslexia, these learning differences have their upsides, these wonderful things about ADHD. where that energy, that able to hyper focus, all these different things that are great about these differences that they might not be recognizing, that's a superpower. The giftedness can be a superpower, but it needs to be understood so they feel more in control of it. But if they don't feel in control, then it can slip away and not feel like a superpower. So your child could be 2E if they have high level thinking or extraordinary skills that stand out, and it might just be in one subject. Okay, it could be just in literacy, languages, math, art, music, any of those areas, for example. There could be a large discrepancy between how they perform in school, their grades, and then how they do on standardized tests or aptitude tests. And if there's some huge difference, something's going on there, okay, that's holding them back. If there's trouble processing or following verbal directions, okay, stories that are read out loud, they have some trouble in there, that could reflect a processing disorder. And that could also be a sign of being 2E, okay? They're really bright, they can think outside the box, but when things come verbally, it's difficult for them to process that. And there can be a lot of different processing issues that can be going on in a 2E child, where it's just their brains are so fast, and if their understanding of things can't keep up, again, that can be challenging. And it can be demotivating. So they just don't want to try so hard because it is hard and it's exhausting. So some myths about 2E kids. Some people believe the two exceptions cancel each other out. Okay, if you're gifted and you have some learning differences, some challenges, then that makes you average, right? And that's not the case. You're exceptional in two different ways. It makes you even more unique, okay? And it's even more important to self-understand what's going on. The second myth, they must just work harder, okay? If they work harder, they're gonna get this. And in some cases, there might be some truth, but it's not just about working hard. They need to work differently, okay? And then once they learn how to work differently, then they might need to work a little bit harder, okay? But the differently is really important. They might need some accommodations in order to be able to work hard. The third one is giftedness and challenges can't be addressed at the same time, okay? And that's not true. There's so many kids who go to a gifted program and a special ed program, they can be addressed simultaneously. The fourth, this is so important. Many people think that the challenges, the learning differences are the ones that need to be addressed first, and then we can decide to let them go to the gifted program. But the special ed stuff has to come first. And that is such a huge mistake because the kids then are just seeing their weaknesses highlighted. And that feels bad. And it's, again, doesn't motivate them. They don't want to try. They don't want to show up. They might even have school avoidance. We need to also have them see their strengths. If anything, the strengths should be the ones guiding everything, right? And then some support to lift the weaknesses and apply those strengths to the weaknesses. Number 5 is 2E kids can't be in advanced classes. What? Okay. This isn't true. They absolutely deserve to be in those advanced classes, okay? In the gifted program, if they're in elementary school, some need to be, more advanced so maybe grade skipping or even just in a subject, right? Grade skip just for that one subject and be able to attend that higher level grade. But if they're in high school or their AP classes available or more challenging classes, they absolutely need to have that. That can be very motivational, and it can help that lower area if they have support in that more advanced area, because they're going to be more excited and inspired. Okay, they'll want to figure this out and do it. And then the last one, number 6, is 2E kids should be more mature than others their age. And If you know about asynchronous development, then actually the opposite can be true. That because their brains are developing so fast, the social emotional piece can be developing slower. And so the maturity can be either just at grade level, where everything else looks like it's more higher level, or it can be even below grade level. So, but of course there's 2E kids with high maturity, but it depends. And there's not just one path, okay, or one way of seeing these kids. All right. What else? So it's believed that there are hundreds of thousands 2E learners in the US alone that are out there, okay? And they're just not all being identified because this is newer. People are figuring this out. There are many famous people that are 2E. And these include people like Steven Spielberg, who's an incredible filmmaker, just the most amazing ideas in these films. And that's just one example. These people are world changers, okay? So 2E can be an incredible gift to not only the child in the family, but to the world. Gifted in 2E support tends to be a low priority in schools because it is not federally mandated. So it's more at a state, local, regional level that school districts are making decisions about 2E identification, gifted identification, and then the support that's given there. So it's inconsistent across the country. There might be no programs and no identifying in your school district. So it is definitely just not well understood and it hasn't been a high priority in schools. Parents often need to be proactive. So if your child is 2E, or you suspect that they might be, getting testing done, you don't have to push for it at the school. If you can pay for it out of pocket, I highly recommend that. Just because the school might drag their feet, it can take a really long time. Okay, so getting tested in giftedness and in different areas, just understanding their brain, okay, is going to be really helpful. If you see that they're struggling in some areas, you see some discrepancies, and you just know you have this bright kid, but some things are holding them back, you want to know what's going on here. Okay, and you might see the social, emotional challenges creeping up. Those can be signs, as well as, academic, ups and downs. 2E kids can appear to be underachievers or lazy. So I've stated this. I just want you to be sure that if your child is an underachiever or appears lazy, there is something going on. It could be that they're 2E. It could be that they just have a learning difference. There can be a lot of different things, but kids want to be successful in life. If they're pushing back, there might be something else going on. And it can be something socially, emotionally, academically, lots of different types of things, but it just asks for more investigation on your part to help them out. Okay? All right, thanks.